But the truth is, not everybody may believe the way we think we should believe, and may have different values. And certainly, you know, as we hire new people, we don't do a values test. We kind of get an indication when we sit them down for an interview, but for sure we don't know. But what happens, and again from my experience in large organizations, people with conflicting values very soon feel very isolated. So for example, and Shane's promoting new ways of working and a completely different cultural shift around who we are and what we can contribute, and forget about your grade. You know, and I've said this a number of times, forget the fact that you have a boss or whatever it is. It's a lot more what you can bring to the table that's important now under our new culture. So the interview process where we're bringing in people is a lot more about how versatile you'll be and how comfortable you can be being uncomfortable and those things, and a lot less scrutiny, I guess, on your beliefs around disparities between men and women, or you know, our pride friends, or any of that stuff. So there will be people slipping through the cracks, but they will stick out very quickly and feel uncomfortable. Either uncomfortable with the fact that they want to be hierarchical and they like command and control, and I will break that if I see that here in the Manila Service Center, and they'll be out the door very quickly. Either they'll walk out the door because they're feeling uncomfortable because that's not how we operate, or we'll show them the door for sure. And likewise, you know, we have people that come in who may have different values around gender equality and so on and so forth. Not everybody in the Manila Service Center has these beliefs, and I'm sure of it. You know, when you have nearly 3,000 people, you're bound to have people that go home and have some disparaging things to say about our Pride colleagues, and about how many women bosses they've had and whatever else. And we've got to face that. But the power that we have is the power in numbers, and there are, in my belief, far more people like the audience here today and others around the service centre who can squeeze that stuff out. And if that's what they want to believe, and they're entitled to it, by the way, just as much as you are entitled to your religious beliefs. We may see it as wrong, but they may see it as right. And there's no place for that at ANZ, and there's definitely no place for that in most organisations around Manila, so that's for sure. So we can be pretty safe thinking that the environment will breathe it out. But I think we've got to recognise that if you're on the MRT or you're on a bus or whatever, that you may find some people who are vulgar, disparaging, and whatever, and you just got to stand your ground. And you don't need Kristen's strength and skills to vote and make a difference. You can stay silent, ignore, and do those things, and they soon go away pretty quickly. Yeah, or stand up for yourself if you want.
Regardless whether you're male or female, it all boils down to commitment that you do for your goals, your passion, and the work that you put into it. So, if you would probably have advantage at times, but if you don't put in extra time and effort, you'd still not end up being successful.
Very well said. Thank you. Panelists, now we open the floor to questions.
Yep. Questions, guys? I know you're all engaged with their insights, but I know you have a lot in mind. Come on.
Don't be shy. Okay, here we go.
My question goes out to everyone, so anyone can answer. And before I ask the question, I just want to say this, establish this. I'm an all-out supporter of women equality, gender parity and all. Ever since I was a kid, when I grew up, I've always looked at women, not just women, everyone, any individual as unequal. They have their own strengths and weaknesses, as do I. So my question is about, I'm just getting a bit, I see a conflict between what we're trying to, well, regarding this advocacy against the meaning of equality. Especially in the workplace where, as previously mentioned, there is a, what do you call it, requirement for equal number of, let's say, women and men in senior management roles, even in interviewing for job applications. I mean, what's the point in maintaining the balance if everyone is treated as equal? I'm just thinking it may also have something to do with equal opportunity. Does that mean that if we have 10 candidates or applicants only, and we already have, let's say, more male in the senior role, and then we have less women apply for the role, are we supposed to force and find female candidates? Or even vice versa? Why do you even have to balance when you treat each other equal? My point is that aren't we supposed to look at the skill, merit, whatnot that's needed by the role, or rather than gender?
Recruitment team, maybe that's a question for
Sure. As I'm the MVP, I don't know how I got that most valuable player title. MVP of...
And I'll tell you the story why I called you the workplace MVP.
Oh, okay. Okay, I'm the MVP. I think that's a great question, and I've always been particularly transparent. I'm going to be super transparent now. There was a time, for those who were around, and most of you looking in the room were here 2 or 3 years ago, when there was a really big push for women in management, and the push became so hard from the top, and it got to a point where I disagreed with the way it was being handled. And some of you will know, mainly because we've got some of our resourcing T&C people here, but there was a push to say, have a look at all the women in grades below management, just below the grade of management, and see whether they're ready for succession and ready to move up, and we will promote them overnight. Most people remember that. I completely and utterly disagree with that. I'll say that openly now. He is recording this. Do not share it with Shane. But you know, I did make the phone call to Joe Campbell at the time to say, what are we doing? We've completely lost